Audio Jungle.
The human was wild, taken from an enclave from one of the human hives. We didn't take it, truly. It found us. Sapient and sentient, we really shouldn't have kept it as a pet. It was like us in every way bar technology. It had snuck into our camouflage spaceship on a dark and rainy night, looking for a place to pass out, from its place of chemical recreation to its place of abode. Then we had taken off for our next port of call. We found it, him. It had a strong male identity according to ship computer. When we were already in deep space. Where we couldn't just take him back, because the IGP would find us and impound our ship for illicit trafficking. That happened to old Zog in '92. So he had to be kept hidden. Safe. Well cared for. Given what we could, it was only fair. We aren't cruel people. We're traitors. Cutthroat, ruthless, independent of the Big Eight. We live on the edge of known space, freighting to the outer colonies, the rogue colonies. We sold gold to slavers and corn to relief efforts. Lots of blood cargo. Lots of smuggling. But we weren't a blood crew ourselves. The first 3 days, the human shook and shuddered. Ship's computer said he was going through withdrawals. Analysis said that he had been living off hard carbohydrates and a sort of dilute antifreeze. We could at least provide a better diet than it had been able to scrounge in the wild. Trips in the void took weeks. Which is why we stopped to explore on the world it was illegal to explore. Forgive us, or don't, you won't be able to catch us, cause Spinya is stealing the Regos off some civilian vessel. Man's gotta keep out of trouble. We need some levity in our life, what with the price of fuel these days. Damn the Big Eight. We learned a little of its language. It learned ours. We taught it how to hand and spike the engines. Ship's computer restrained him from draining the antifreeze. We watched soaps with him. He told us about trying to earn a crust and paying fuck you loans to the unit. We didn't know what either of those things were, but we complained to him about the Big Eight autocracy. Seriously, half of them shared the same board of directors, and some of them were politicians too. It told us about living life in a sort of bowl, with a hive and puddle at the bottom, and a ring of trees around the edges, and never being able to see out the top of it. We watched it as it stared out of the windows into the deep black eternal void and the cruel stars. We reminded it that it could never return home. And he laughed and asked what home. Humans would make a good spacefaring species. They already wore PPE as a daily thing. His feet were shod with steel-capped boots, laced with blue-like bars. He was tight-lipped when we asked about them. Said it was a bad memory, not one to tell sober. It was a good friend. A nice pet. He kept the engines runnings. It polished the metal of the den we made for him. A year later we lost him on a slave world. We had to keep to our schedule. We looked for him for hours. But we knew in our hearts what had happened. It happened to my very own daughter over on Bin 9. We scoured Space eBay for him. We scored Space Silk Road. We couldn't find him. So we put a notice out to our Trader Space Facebook group that this was a black planet. We wouldn't trade with it or visit it. It stole our crew member. That was all I knew of the human. You all know him from the slave revolt. And for that I am proud. Godspeed, human pet. John Brown. The author's name and the link to original text in the description. Consider tapping the thumbs up and pressing the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. And please join our channel. Thanks for watching.